Glory be to God. And this is Ask Pastor Herbert. Today's question comes from John Norman. John Norman, what a wonderful question. What a wonderful question. And the question goes, where did Cain get his wife? Yep. Since Adam and Eve were the first people and they had 2 children, and then Cain killed Abel, and then later on we see, after some scriptures, we see Cain marry. So where did he get? If Cain married, actually no, he goes, or where did Adam and Eve's sons, like now Seth, Cain, where did Adam and Eve's sons, that is Seth and Cain, get their wives from? If Cain married his sister, or probably a niece, he committed incest, and wouldn't that produce genetically defective children? First of all, we have to know that with God all things are possible. The first generation of people, they were perfect in every way, and God never stopped anyone to marry their sister or niece. If you look carefully in Genesis, if you look in Genesis, that law had not been introduced. That law was introduced in the book from Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, way after people had even come out of Egypt. In other words, centuries had taken time, or many centuries had passed, then that's when God introduced. For example, God never told man to eat meat until in chapter 6 of Genesis, when after the event of Noah's Ark, the flood. That's when they came out, God told them that now you can eat meat to supplement on your diet because of the situations. They are boring situations. So anyway, let's go back to this. Where did they get their wives? Number 2, if they did get married to their cousins or sisters, wasn't that incest? No, because God had not introduced that law. Secondly, was it genetically defective? No. At that time, everything was still intact, and God knew when and how He will stop people from doing so, because at that time multiplication was important, and God, through His supremacy and power, He knew what he had done with the genes of people. Now let me wind up with this question. Where did they get their wives? In the account of where they got their wives, we have to go in the book of Genesis chapter 5. It will give us a clue. Although it may not tell you exactly where, it will give us a clue. For example, this is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In the day that God created man, He made him in the likeness of God. He created them, male and female, and blessed them and called them mankind in the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness. Now remember, after 130 years, now the Bible is not mentioning about Cain and what? And Abel. Those were already begotten. But you remember, Cain killed Abel. After that event, the Bible says that it took again 130 years, to have another son, and named him Seth. In between, we are not told whether he had more daughters, because as all of us know, in the biblical custom, sometimes daughters were not mentioned. After he begat Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he had sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. So almost Adam lived a millennium, 1,000 years. But the Bible has been breaking through, and it says in chapter 4, I think chapter 3, we are told how Adam had Abel and Cain. They killed each other. The Bible is silent. We don't know whether he had more daughters. But yet from this account, the Bible says he had more daughters and even sons. But it took him 100 years to have another son, and named him Seth. Can we assume in between there, as the Bible indicated, he had daughters, and these daughters grew, but also he had more sons after 100 more years. So let's assume that by the time he died at the age of 930, he had, more sons and more daughters. As the Bible says, the Bible has not given us the clear number, but the Bible says more. That means there were many. But remember, a person at 50, 30, he can have relationship and they give birth. So that means by the time Abraham died, he had sons and daughters, grand and great sons and daughters, and great sons and daughters. So in other words, people were many, and they started to move in different directions, marrying each other and intermarrying. God bless you. I think that's what I can say for now. With God, all things are possible. God bless you, Norman, for that wonderful question. Keep it up, ask more, and I'll be so happy to answer where I can. God bless you. Until then.